And there seems to be no sign of intelligent life anywhere.
Hello?
This November, Toy Story celebrates its 25-year anniversary. The beloved animated adventure of Toy Box Allegiances was the first feature-length film released by Pixar. Since 1995, the studio has gone on to win 16 Academy Awards, 11 Grammy Awards, and 10 Golden Globe Awards. But did you know that the first computer animated movie studio was once owned by Star Wars' George Lucas and Apple's Steve Jobs? Or that their first initial breaks included Star Trek and Listerine? You will! Join us as we take a look back at the history of Pixar to infinity and beyond. Pixar started 16 years prior to releasing its first feature-length film when George Lucas recruited Ed Catmull to lead Lucasfilm's computer division. Lucas had already worked with Catmull, whose company Triple I had made the X-Wing fighter for Star Wars. Simply called the Graphics Group at the time, what Lucas wanted from this arrangement was advancements in digital film editing and digital sound editing. By 1982, Graphics Group completed the first completely computer-animated sequence ever made for a feature film in Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan. The scene in question was a terraforming sequence by the Genesis device where we witness a lifeless planet suddenly transform in simulation. In 1984, the studio created its first short film, called The Adventures of Andre and Wally B. Combining hand-painted textures with flexible computer-generated characters, this would be the first example of character animation done by computers. The Graphics Group completed one more feature film sequence for George Lucas, The Stained Glass Knight and Young Sherlock Holmes, before Steve Jobs purchased the company in 1986, 1 year after being ousted from Macintosh. Jobs bought the Graphics Group for $5 million and was the largest shareholder in the company until Disney purchased Pixar in 2006. It was under Jobs that Pixar got its name, a combination of Pixar, a made-up Spanish word that sounded like to make pictures, and radar for its futuristic learnings. But it also became the company that we think of today because this is also when the Pixar lamp was first introduced in the short film Luxo Jr. For the first 5 years as an independent animation company, Pixar completed a number of shorts including 1988's Tin Toy and 1989's Knick Knack, which saw them making large leaps in three-dimensional movement. By 1991, Pixar also made commercials for Trident and Listerine. It was the commercial work that allowed them to hire future film directors Andrew Stanton and Pete Docter. It was also the commercial work pipeline that showed the studio could work with outside clients, and this led to Pixar's first agreement with Disney, signed in 1991, to make and distribute at least one computer-generated animated movie. That first film, of course, would become Toy Story. Toy Story was the perfect story for Pixar in 1995 because their technology made all organic objects look plastic, which was ideal for a story concerning the active life of toys when humans are not around. The human rendering was so far behind that originally the filmmakers hoped to avoid showing humans altogether outside of limbs. But early on, faces for the Davis family and Sid, the evil neighbor, were deemed necessary for the audience. Though the human characters look off to us now, this only highlights the monumental achievements that Pixar has done in advancing its own technology through the years. Stanton shaped the story as a buddy movie, and the writing team, including Joss Whedon, Alex Sokolow, and Joel Cohen, added sarcasm that was atypical for animated movies at the time.
I'm just a couple of blocks away.
If Woody says it's all right, then, well, darn it, it's good enough for me.
I don't believe that man's ever been to medical school.
We have to hold hands.
Oh, yeah, you guys think this is a big joke.
Pixar decided to avoid musical numbers to differentiate itself from Disney proper. However, production would be shut down to retool Woody's character to make him more likable.
Wait a minute, you don't think I meant to knock Buzz out the window, do you, Potato Head?
That's Mr. Potato Head to you, you backstabbing murderer.
Stanton tasked the writers to make Woody and Buzz engaging enough that if the audience were stuck in an elevator with them for 70 minutes, it would still be entertaining. The resulting film, released in 1995, was the highest-grossing film of 1995 at $192 million domestic and $360 million worldwide. far eclipsing Jobs' expectations that it would break even if it grossed $75 million. Pixar's next film, A Bug's Life, allowed the company to further its 3D character mapping via A World Without Humans, and Monsters, Inc. allowed them to animate many different shapes and improve upon their human forms. The directive at Pixar was to create a computer-animated environment that had not been done before, and thus the team went underwater with Finding Nemo in 2003.
Fish are friends, not food.
Except stinking dolphins.
Dolphins? Yeah, they think they're so cute. Oh, look at me, I'm a flippin' little dolphin. Let me flip for you, I know something.
In 2004, Pixar's next landmark achievement was the three-dimensional human form in The Incredibles, which then blew the door off the types of stories Pixar could tell.
Honey?
What?
Where's my super suit?
What?
Where is my super suit?
Put it away.
Where?
Why do you need to know?
I need it!
Following that film's massive success, in 2006 the animated studio was formally sold to Disney for $7.4 billion. Since The Incredibles, Pixar has created the digital worlds of Radiator Springs in Cars, a French restaurant in Ratatouille, outer space in WALL-E, Into the Sky in Up's Balloon House, to Scotland in Brave, to the Jurassic era in The Good Dinosaur, inside a child's brain in Inside Out, into the afterlife in Coco, and a world of mythical creatures in Onward. Over the past 25 years, there have been 8 sequels to 5 original franchises. The Incredibles 2 has been the biggest success at the box office with $1.2 billion earned worldwide, and WALL-E holds the record for the most Oscar nominations for a Pixar movie at 6. All told, Pixar has earned $14.5 billion at the worldwide box office in addition to all those golden statues. Because of the COVID pandemic, their next original film, Soul, will be released on Disney+. But there are 4 additional theatrical Pixar movies in the works, with releases in 2021, 2022, and 2023. However, only Enrico Casarosa's Luca has a title and plot as of this video's publication date. Set in a beautiful seaside town on the Italian Riviera where all is idyllic, except for the sea monster that lives offshore. Luca will be Pixar's 24th feature-length film. So, of all the Pixar releases, which is your favorite? Tell us in the comments below.